Hello and welcome to today's daily pickacard tarot reading for September 3rd. You can go ahead and pick whichever card is speaking to you or hang around for all of the readings. I'll do a summary of all the cards right at the end. Yeah, I just am doing this for fun and hoping to give you all inspiration, because it's always been helpful for me just to do readings to keep me inspired. And I also do energy work stuff, so if you're ever interested in personal energy work sessions, you can message me via the email below or through Instagram that there should also be a link to. All right, thanks for checking in. We'll start from the left, go that, or from the right, from your right. And there will be timestamps below if you want to skip to your card. Okay, catch you in there. Our first card, we have got the Seven of Wands with Mila Granson and Dubiaku on it, and it's right side up. So as always, see what's speaking to you in the imagery first. That's the most important thing. So you can pause the video if you want to do that. So Dubiaku is a is a person who deceives death. So it's a cheeky story. So he's basically, yeah, how the story goes, you can check it out if you want to, but basically, the story that I've read, Dubiaku was the 11th or 12th child that his mother had, and his mother asked for help with all the children from God, and then God sends death with her 11 children to look after Dubiaku and their kid and her kids. And at a certain point, death decides to eat all of the kids, but Dubiaku was clever and got out all of his brothers and sort of tricked death into eating all of her own children. And so basically that thing happens so that he escapes with his brothers, and there's a few other things that happen, but that's kind of the gist of it. And Mila, not sure if it's Mila or Mila, Granderson was a freed slave who would run night classes all the while she was enslaved, and would teach students from 11 p.m. at night to 2 a.m. I'm sure it's like, that's at least what I read, but I'm sure she was probably working even longer than that. All the while when it was illegal, which is wild to think about, that there was a time in the US where it was illegal for people to learn how to read. So that's the other person that we've got in the top there, and it's a lot going in this card. And so it's the Seven of Wands, which is usually traditionally a guy who's fighting off a bunch of wands coming at him, but the usual imagery is kind of like you gotta fight against all of these overwhelming forces. But the messaging that I'm getting from this card is that there may be oncoming challenges, but the way to encounter them is through creative thinking rather than just busting up against them. But even if they feel really challenging, you can do it. You get through this. The story in this card is about escaping death. So no matter what the challenge is, you got it. And, trusting that you will get to that point where you can relax. Okay. Okay, our second card, we have got the Ten of Wands along with a Night Walker and Charles Young. And so Charles Young in the background there was a really accomplished US soldier from the late 1800s to the early 1900s. And we've got a witch doctor, which I'm not super sure why we've got a witch doctor on this page, on this photo. Usually 10 of Wands is someone carrying 10 really big sticks, so it might be about hard work or needing to let off the burden, depending on sort of what feeling you're going into it. So the soldier that we have there, Charles Young, he definitely sort of captures that feeling of carrying a lot of duty and things like that. But if anything, the witch doctor character is more someone who takes the super opposite approach, that is doing things more selfishly and not doing things for the community, kind of taking the easy way out. And that's definitely not presented in a good light. So that may be feeling more present today, that sort of activity or the feeling of the desire to sort of take shortcuts or things like that. Or even doing things that are just sort of to make you feel good in the moment. But it may be good to connect with either some important ancestors that you had or something like that who make you feel more alive. You know, you can live day to day in a way that is just kind of getting by, and that's okay, but it can be draining and ultimately hurtful to other people, which is kind of the witch doctor thing here. But, you know, if that story of the witch doctor is, you know, like I don't think it is, but if it's like a mischaracterization of the witch, if these are actually good folks, you know, if you're doing good work in the background, but people are kind of ragging on you, it's important to be transparent about what you're doing and why you're doing it, even if you think it's not in people's best interest to know. It's important just to be straight up with people, because it's natural if you're doing something and people are hearing about you or seeing you doing it and they don't get any reasoning behind it, then they're gonna get like suspicious. Because maybe Nightwalkers are super misunderstood. I don't think that's the case, but I don't really know enough about the history to be able to say that. So that's all I'm going to say about that. He's looking pretty scraggly, isn't he? I don't know, I like the animals. Okay, last card we have got in reverse. This is Hitsi Abib, and it's the King of Cups in this, and it's reversed. So see what's speaking to you in the imagery. That's the most important thing. Hitsi Abib is a figure, is sort of a hero figure, supposedly kind of a trickster guy, kind of a hero guy, and he defeated a underworld the god of the underworld from this one story that I read, and by sort of deceiving him. So, but the feeling that I get from the card, even upside down, even though it's reversed, is the colors in this card are so nice. That's kind of what I feel drawn towards. But since it's in reverse, so the initial thing before I knew Hetzi Abib, because supposedly he did some trickstery stuff that's also kind of sketchy. But so the initial feeling that I got was, even though it was reversed, I felt like the feeling is about not stepping. If it was upright, I would feel like it was more about stepping into the shoes of this sort of chilling but powerful, relaxed God figure. And then upside down, the feeling that I got from it was that it meant more that you don't have to be in that role yourself so much as trusting that there's sort of that protection over you. But then I got kind of a sketchy feeling from what I read about this character. So yeah, maybe there might be some stuff that seems all shiny on the outside. Yeah, I think that's the thing. So something may seem really like good on the outside, but you don't have to be super skeptical of it, but maybe just making sure you're seeing it's important to really see the actions that people are taking and be aware of that to the extent where you're not making someone into being some super important figure if their actions aren't following that up, you know? So that's the feeling that I kind of get from this, but I do really like the colors of it too. So I'm trying to think about how those two things come together, but it's kind of like skepticism state of mind or relaxing state of mind, and they might be just different things going on. But if one of those spoke more to you, that's the right message. Right, now all three cards together, we have got the Seven of Wands, which was with, what was my name? With Dubiaku here, Deceiving Death, Seven of Wands, and Mila, dang, I'm gonna forget the names. Okay, we'll flip all of the cards over now. We've got the Seven of Wands with Dubiaku and Mila Granson. We have got a Nightwalker along with Charles Young for a Ten of Wands, and for the last one we have Dubiaku reversed right there. Okay. Altogether, this kind of feels to me like two opposing things going on. It feels like kind of hinging on this, the King of Cups in the back there. And so it feels like there could be drifting into a state of mind today of kind of binaries about good and evil, or bad and good. And so this side is kind of like, feels like struggles in life, tricksteriness. And this card, even though it's reversed there, it still feels to me like just being in your element, feeling good, and that bouncing back and forth that can happen between sort of almost like heaven and hell in your mind in a way. And I know for me, when I'm starting to see the world in terms of binaries, usually it means I'm super exhausted and I'm just worn out, because that's ultimately a simplification or seeing things from too far out. So I just know putting my energy into trying to figure out which is the real one can just get even more exhausting and tiring. So I just have to trust that, you know, whatever's happening is happening the way that it should. And I just kind of let that thought ride me out of that internal unrest so I can get some rest, take a break from thinking about it. And then oftentimes a resolution to that conflict pops up out of nowhere. So that's the feeling that I'm getting from these cards today. But if you got a different perception, different messages, please put them in the comments below, or not. Even if you're just thinking them to yourself, they're important too. So thanks for checking in today, and we'll catch you on. Bye.